Hey guys, and welcome to FTM Transformers on YouTube. My name is Colby, and it is Thursday. This week we will actually be talking about mental illness. And should we talk about it? Yes, we should. I think that a lot of people underestimate what it really means to be transgender and how strong you really have to be to come out and begin your journey, and not only begin your journey but complete it. I will not 100% say that I was suicidal because I was transgender. I believe that that was an underlying cause of the suicide attempts. I took a lot of pills when my dad died to go to sleep because that's all I wanted to do was sleep because I wasn't. But at that time, I had recently come out to him as well, about a month and a half before he passed away, and it was one of the last real conversations we had. And I believe that that would be really difficult to go through. And so, yeah, there have been a couple of suicide attempts in my past, and there was denial as to what was really going on. There has always been dysphoria that I've had to deal with that makes the condition of the depression worse. Gender dysphoria does not help anything. It doesn't make it easier for a person to go out in public, especially if they have to go to the bathroom in public. I still don't use the bathroom in public unless it's an absolute necessity. Unless there's nowhere else for me to go, or I know that I'm not going to make it home. Then I do it, and sometimes I'm hesitant, just because you never know what's going to happen. But these things need to be talked about. These conversations need to be had. What can we do to protect people who may be more susceptible to mental illness? They used to think that people that were transgender were either schizophrenic or had multiple personalities. And I'm not 100% sure on that. I read it somewhere, and of course, just because you read it doesn't make it true. But this was a really long time ago, and I don't remember the source, or I would double check it. But on the fly right now, I can kind of see where they're coming from. You want to be somebody else, but you are who you are, and so in certain situations, you act like a completely different person, and sometimes people may not know how to process that. And the conversations need to be had so we can learn triggers and also learn coping skills. Because if we are unable to treat the symptoms, how are we supposed to treat the person? How are we supposed to make their life easier and better if we aren't understanding what's triggering them to relapse, into taking pills, or relapse into alcohol, relapse into drugs, relapse into self-harm? Mental illnesses do not make anybody less of a person. It does not mean that they deserve subpar treatment or that they don't deserve to have all the basic necessities for life. If anything, they need it more. They need that extra help because they can't do it by themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having any kind of mental illness. And you should never let anybody tell you that you are less than who you are, that you are less than deserving of love and kindness and friendship and generosity, because those are what you are. That's part of what makes you human. I feel that we go quiet about those things. We talk amongst the community of the gender dysphoria. Sometimes you'll see people post in groups about how suicidal they are and how they just need somebody to talk to. And I think that, first of all, you're transgender, so society doesn't really know what to do with you in the first place, but add on some sort of mental disturbance, and they really don't know what to do with you, Because a lot of people think, oh, well, you're just doing it for the attention. Well, you know, you're not really going through anything that's that bad. Just imagine what it would be if you lived in a third world country. None of that is helpful. You can't just wish it away. You can't talk it away. It's something that has to be dealt with. You have to find the triggers to make it better, and you have to develop the coping skills to handle it when it happens in the future. Because it may not go away permanently. You know, everybody's going to have urges. Everybody's going to have bad days. And especially when you're transgender, there's going to be something that happens at some point that triggers something and makes you just feel a little crazy. And that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's not okay to act upon it. And I always urge people that I know who are having a difficult time to reach out to somebody. Stranger, somebody that you trust, somebody that you know can keep a secret, or call a hotline. You don't need to be alone when you feel like you are alone. You don't have to be alone. If you choose to isolate yourself, you're only hurting yourself. And I know that for the most part I'm preaching to the choir, and I know also I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because when things get to be too much for me, I tend to shut down and I go into my own little universe and I do whatever I think I need to do to make sense of the situation. And that's not always the best thing for me to do. I generally need to reach out to somebody. I need to talk through my feelings and my emotions to help make sense of it. Even if they don't understand, even if it's not trans related, or even if it is, you know, you need to have one or two people that you can go to in case of that type of emergency who you know is going to respect you and support you to the very best of their ability. And at least if they're not able to make it better, they may know somebody else who can, or they may have resources on hand for you to make it better. Mental illness does not need to define you, and it shouldn't define you. And I highly urge anybody who is having any type of suicidal thoughts to reach out to any of us on this collaboration. Please call the suicide hotline. Please make sure that you have somebody in your life who you believe is going to take care of you. And I promise you, everybody here will give you as much time as they can to make sure that you're okay. Because that's what you do for people that you care about. That's what you do for people who make a difference in your world. And you guys make all the difference in ours, and we don't want to let you go. So please keep in mind that we love you, we care about you, and we are here for you. And don't ever let anybody tell you that your mental illness defines you, because it's not, and they suck and you rock. And I love you guys. It's okay to be mentally crazy because we're all just a little harebrained from time to time. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week.